It's just another Sharkman podcast.
Hello and welcome to Just Another Sharkman podcast, your chance to plug into all the latest news, movies and events in the Sharkman film franchise. I'm Jack and I'm here with my best pal Ferg.
Hello.
There he is, and we've got some cool news for you today, guys, because we're in a new studio.
So exciting. Here we are in episode 295 of the podcast.
We've moved
and
from
we
the
finally
old
moved
studio
to somewhere new.
And we're in a new place, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, really, developing new things for the podcast, moving forward.
I can't wait to tell them the story of how we got here.
So exciting, but we're going to save that for later, aren't we, Jack?
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, so we're going to save that for later.
So we're going to tell at the end of the podcast. We're going to do that.
We're going to do that. So then, what happens? Fergus was saying. So what happens is, if we tell you this now, then you'll listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you'll download the whole.
So it's like a tease for the end of the podcast. So we're setting up a thing you want to listen to,
and then you get
so
more
you
listens.
listen through. Because then if people listen to 100% rather than say just 40%, because that is a problem with iTunes.
But I think we're going to start with some news today, aren't we?
Yes, big Sharkman news today.
Big press release just came through.
So Sharkman Studios is doing a massive extension of their studio lot,
which is amazing because there's just going to be more stuff.
Yeah,
there's
so much more.
More jobs and films and games and just more.
Exactly, and it's so good for the for the local community to be having so many more jobs that are going to be produced by the expanded Sharkman Studios. And a job at Sharkman Studios, that's a great job to have because
I'd love to have a job at Sharkman Studios.
Exactly.
Why don't we have jobs at Sharkman Studios?
Well, no one knows how to apply.
No one knows how you get employed. It's just like you wake up one day, maybe you go, you brush your teeth, or you're just going to the shop, so you're like just going about your day, and you'll just literally reach into your pocket and you'll pull out a USB.
Yeah,
and it will be like, how did that USB get there? Did like some spy secretly put it in my pocket? Did it just materialize?
Yeah.
And then you pop that into the computer. It's a .txt file, and it says, get to work right now or you're fired.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so we'll never... Maybe they like us where we are.
Exactly. Well, we're doing such a great job,
Serena said that when she was on, from
exactly.
Sharkman Studios. She was like, you guys, you're great. So, I think let's just be happy where we are, Ferg, in our new studio.
Exactly. And we'll tell you about that later.
Yeah, later, sorry, because not now.
But it's so great for all the people in the area who are going to be employed.
By those magical USB sticks.
By those magical, mysterious USB sticks. And because working at Sharkman Studios, just like what a job. It's so, it's so cool there. Like the whole, the office is all like open plan.
Yeah, and there's a slide to work.
Yes.
You just get up and you go down a slide into work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. I mean, down, like if you live high up, it's down. But if you live close to the ground floor, you have to crawl up the tube.
But the slide comes straight into your room. You just roll out of bed into the slide.
Yeah. And then slug your way up.
Yeah.
But it's pretty democratic, Fred, because say you live high up.
Yeah.
Then you get to slide to work.
Brilliant.
You have to crawl home.
Not even crawl. You have to pull yourself up.
Yeah.
And if you lose your grip,
you're back at work again.
And of course, once you're back in the doors, you have to start a shift.
Yeah. So the hot news is that Sharkman Studios are building about 19 square miles more stuff, more studio, more sets, more everything.
And it's really handy that, of course, right next to the current Sharkman Studios lot, there's this huge empty plot of land, and that's of course where they're able to buy that up, and they're going to be building on that. It's that big empty plot of land
where that town was
a couple of weeks ago,
and it mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah, just overnight. All the houses and the people in them disappeared, and that's so lucky though because whoever was responsible for that, they've now allowed Sharkman Studios to expand
to just build into that area. Absolutely. I mean, it's a big redevelopment. So I think if it would help, imagine Vatican City.
What's Vatican City?
I think it's like a theme park for uncles.
Yes, no, I did know that.
Yeah. And imagine Sharkman Studios is the size of Vatican City.
Right. Okay.
And then now it's gonna become the size of Rome.
Right.
And we all know what Rome's famous for, don't we, Ferg?
Movies.
The Empire, Ferg.
Right, okay.
And just fingers crossed that there's a Roman Empire of Sharkman Studios films, and that it's just as big.
I think Jack's overcomplicating it. If you want to imagine the scale of the Sharkman Studios redevelopment, really you have to imagine that it's like at the moment it's like a seed. Like your mum's told you not to swallow the seeds because they'll grow a tree inside you.
Yeah.
But you've swallowed the seed of an orange seed, a lemon seed.
By accident, entirely by accident.
By accident, any of your favourite fruits. You've swallowed that seed, and at the moment it's a seed, but then it is going to start growing into a tree, and it starts growing inside you. And of course, by the time it's grown big enough, you'll always be full.
Yeah.
You'll never be hungry.
No.
And obviously, down the line, you'll die.
And that is that's what the Sharkman CEO said in the press release.
Yes, that is how he described it, word for word. So the big question is, of course, what are Sharkman Studios going to be using this new lot for? A lot of what they're looking at. So we're just going to break it down. What?
Sharkman cookie?
Yep.
Good, right?
So, what are they going to be using the new lot for? Of course, there's going to be some brand new studio spaces where they're going to be making new films. So hopefully, the output, because the output's been...
It's about 4 to 6 films a month.
Yeah, the output's been slowing down a bit. Obviously, it's sort of they released more and more films, but now they've sort of plateaued recently.
So it'd be nice to just kind of ramp that up to 9 to 10 films.
Because I did think it was weird how they were making films, and the rate at which they were making films was increasing. But then it stopped. I don't get that creative choice to stop increasing
stuff and just plateau.
Rather than just an exponential...
Well, clearly they felt the same way.
Exactly.
Right, so obviously films, Ferg. But what else is Sharkman going to be doing in this massive expansion?
Well, they're of course able to expand lots of other areas on the Sharkman Studios lot. Yeah. So, of course, they have their temporary detention cells where they put anyone who commits misdemeanors...
on the Sharkman premises. Yeah,
the Sharkman premises.
So they're going to be expanding that.
So they're going to have way more detention cells, which is great. And it's really part of their initiative to be more efficient, to be more clean in today's modern world.
I was reading about that, Ferg. It's kind of like climate something. I don't remember. Anyway, it wasn't like a big deal. It's just like, keep an eye on it.
Yeah. So, and obviously Sharkman Studios are, very aware of these sorts of things. Yeah. So in an effort to be using less resources, something they're doing that's really cool is that their temporary detention cells, they have 5 detainees to a cell.
Cool.
So just using up less land. And really stacking those buildings really high. And another thing they're doing is, so instead of being wasteful and having temporary detainees on site and also having employees on site, what they're actually doing is putting the temporary detainees to work at Sharkman Studios.
A kind of combination program.
Exactly. And it also means, of course, they don't have to pay them because they're detained there.
No.
So they can...
Save money,
So they can save a lot of money.
Energy.
Exactly. And putting more money into other initiatives.
Congrats. Oh, little shout out to my cousin Sally.
Oh yes,
she's a security officer at Sharkman Studios.
Yeah, she won that.
That lottery on the back of the cereal packet. Yeah. Hope you're well, Sally.
Yeah.
Hope you're putting all those prisoners to good work. Love you.
Temporary detainees.
Temporary detainees to good work. Love you, Sally.
I wonder what new opportunities there'll be for Sally as part of this extension.
Yeah.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting. I must give her a text.
Yeah.
I literally haven't seen her since last Christmas, and then that was quite, we didn't speak very much. Yeah, there was just time. She showed me her Sharkman hat from the studios, her taser, and her Glock.
Oh, right. It's so cool that she gets free merch.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
So what I was reading online actually is that underneath the compound, they're actually building a gigantic endless maze.
Oh.
And whether or not that's to kind of house some nightmare creature, either of their own devising or if they met while they were tunneling under the earth. I don't know. But what I do know is that in some of the Sharkman gift shops, I've seen some photos online, they're stocking some balls of string.
Okay.
Some golden thread that might help you through that maze.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Of course, if the maze is endless, ultimately futile. Another exciting thing that comes with the new development is that Sharkman Studios, they're going to be changing up how they do studio tours.
Whoa, I heard about this. Yeah.
So up until now, of course, when you do a tour of Sharkman Studios, you simply go on a physical tour around the studios. But now they're going to build a VR suite. And so instead, it's a lot easier, again, using less resources. Yeah. You go into the VR suite and you put on the headset and you're taken on a simulation of Sharkman Studios instead of the real thing.
Yeah.
What this means, of course, is that, Sharkman Studios are just able to take that simulation and just tweak it a bit and just change up exactly what's there, just to give you a sort of a better version of the truth.
Which is so cool, because I was reading, that actually when you put on the VR headset, most of that tour is actually just walking into the VR suite and putting on a headset again.
So wait, so the VR suite is inside the simulation.
Exactly.
You can go to that building.
So then you just get these endless repetitions of putting on the headset.
Right, yeah.
Again and again and again.
Okay.
And once you've left,
Yeah.
you're never quite sure what is real again.
So it's so cool that they're creating an experience that really stays with you
All the way home, yeah.
for life.
Rest of your life. All right, Ferg, but why don't you explain the big part of the press release? The bit that's in bold, the bit that's right in the middle.
So, Sharkman Studios, on the new lot, and they're going to be building...
Game changing.
A series of laboratories. And in these laboratories, they're going to be developing time travel technology.
Yes, finally.
So what this means is we're going to have a whole bunch of new Sharkman films that are all being released in the past. So up until now, of course...
Sharkman 1 came out in 2012.
Sharkman 1 came out in 2012. Which means, unfortunately, we only have 6 years of Sharkman films.
Which is blows. It sucks.
Yeah, but now, once they've developed the time travel technology, which I do not doubt they will... it means we're going to be able to see Sharkman films that were released in the 90s, Sharkman films that were released in the 60s.
I mean, I read that they were actually floating the idea of inventing film earlier so there could be more.
That's brilliant.
Movies.
We can see we can see Sharkman films that were released during the English Civil War.
How good would that be?
And that's it's really cool that they're just sort of diversifying what Sharkman films can be when they came out and what our timeline is.
It's funny because it's like it's taking a massive step forward by taking a massive step back.
Ingenious. And what I've been reading on the forums about how this is going to work out is, in terms of timelines, it's not that the new timeline is as such going to fully replace the old timeline, because of course that would disrupt things and there'll be all these paradoxes. Instead, it's more going to be that both these timelines exist in our minds, in our histories at the same time. So we're going to sort of remember the timeline where the first Sharkman film came out in 2012, but we're also going to remember the version of events where there were Sharkman films in the 70s.
Right.
So we're going to have those
way back to black and white films.
Exactly.
That you watched when you were a kid.
Exactly. So we're all going to have multiple histories in our head, conflicting with each other, sort of influencing each other, and just, like I say, just really diversifying what history is.
And I can't wait for that to happen, Ferg. And I guess they won't even need to announce it because it will just happen.
We'll just know.
We'll just know it's happened, won't we?
Yeah.
Wow. Another cookie?
Sure.
Right, so, new studio. We're in a new studio, and we can talk about...
Hang on a moment, Jack. Before we get to the new studio, we're going to make the listeners listen to an ad first. So here's an ad. So you have to listen to the ad revenue. It's all happening. Here we go. Hear about the studio later.
Bye, guys.
Hello there, listeners. It's me, actor James with the fur, star of Sharkman 7, Dino Bros, They Are Your Friends, and the Dr. Clock web series. Recently, customers have been writing into Piss Crate in their droves, and they're saying, "Dear Piss Crate, I simply love the piss that you send to me. In crates, the real piss from the real Sharkman actors. It's all I could have ever hoped for. But the problem is, when I try to drink the piss, you see, the crate makes it difficult. I lift the crate, I lift the corner of the crate to my mouth, I try to drink it out the corner of the crate, but it spills all over the edges, and it gets all over me. It's all down my front, and now I'm covered in piss. And I want to drink the piss crate. That's what I want to do. Please help me." And in response, Piss Crate have told customers that they should not be drinking the piss, that it's probably not hygienic, and they should refrain entirely from attempting to do so. Now, I don't know about you listeners, but that sounds to me like Piss Crate are trying to crush people's dreams, trying to stop them from doing what they want to do. So, here at Piss Monthly, we want you to follow your dreams. Every month you can send us up to 3 receptacles of your choosing. It can be a cup, it can be a mug, it can be a thin, long, tall glass, a glass the size of a man. and we'll fill it up with piss. Piss Monthly. £29 a month.
Oh, are we not sponsored by Piss Crate anymore?
No, just because we weren't able to So I just thought we'd try something new.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not. I never heard of. Was it Piss Monthly?
Yeah. So they're not quite as established as Piss Crate. So.
Okay.
But
it's still the
It's still the piss of the Sharkman actors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey everyone, we're back. I've just been so excited to tell you about our new studio.
Yep.
Fergus finally going to let me tell you the saga of how we got into the new building.
Yeah.
So, what happened was, I woke up bright and early, went to the kitchen to cook up some eggs and eat some eggs, and I ate some eggs, and then I saw Chris and my mum, and they were also in the kitchen, and they were eating granola.
Chris,
and
I assume, was Chris there because he's banging your mum, isn't
yeah,
he?
it's because he's, but they were just there, and, sorry, don't need to talk about them. I'm always thinking about them, which is really stupid, because Chris is just a rival podcaster, but he's also staying at my house a lot.
Yeah.
But that's fine. And not a big deal. Okay, so anyway, I got into work, and Ferg was there just shouting at someone on the phone.
Yeah.
Don't know who that was.
It's just a friend. That's just how we talk.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There were
Don't
all
worry.
these cardboard boxes outside the studio.
Yeah.
And I was like, Ferg, are we moving? And you were like...
I was like, let's just grab these boxes and head off.
So someone had like really nicely packed all of our podcast stuff into the boxes.
Yeah.
And then I picked up 5 boxes. Ferg took 1 box, but it's not like I was doing more work or something.
I was carrying one, really heavy box,
and I was carrying 5 really heavy boxes. And then we walked outside, and it started to rain.
Yeah.
So it started to rain really hard. And all of the cardboard boxes were getting soggy with all the podcast gear in.
And we had a box with Smog Slug in it as well.
Smog Slug was there, and he was being quite difficult. So
because he kept uncoalescing and recoalescing in different places,
on top of people's heads. Kind of sucking people's feet into the ground.
Nightmare creature, love him.
And kind of dissolving people's feet. Yeah, I saw. So someone's foot got. It was just like a businessman.
It was raining. I couldn't really see what was happening.
Anyway,
it's just him It's just him blowing off steam.
And this whole time, I'm like, Ferg, where are we going?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
And then what happens is that Ferg says, let's just take a rest under the bridge.
Yeah.
Our favourite bridge.
Yeah.
And so then we sit under the bridge for about 4 hours with our cardboard box with all the podcast stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, Ferg, I'm ready to go. But you're like, no, tired. You're tired.
Yeah.
And then you say, why don't we just record the podcast here?
Yeah. Just like a fun, just so we feel like a fun field trip type thing.
And I was sort of like, oh, okay. And so I started setting it up. And then this man arrived, this delivery man.
Yeah.
And he gave you a letter, Ferg.
Yeah.
And then you opened it. And then you looked really relieved.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, come on, Jack, we've got a new studio.
Yeah.
And so what we did was we picked up all the boxes again, and we walked to this laundrette down the road.
Yeah.
And then you were just studying this letter really intently, and you were looking really sort of like concentrating.
Yeah.
And there were all these clothes just whirring away in all the different laundrette things. I've never used one before.
Right.
I just, Mum just does my washing.
Of course, yeah.
And we went up to the counter, and then you looked at her and you said, "Dark squid sucks." But you said it like it was a code word.
Yeah.
So like, I presume you mean Dark Squid the film.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
I mean, it does.
Which it does.
Yeah.
And then she looked at you and she nodded slowly.
Yeah.
And then she beckoned for us to follow her without speaking. Then we walked down the back aisle of the laundrette. And this whole time I'm thinking, what is happening?
Yeah.
Is this a surprise party for me? Is this,
what
is this?
Right, okay.
Why have we been sitting on a bridge for so long, right?
Yeah.
All of this. And she approaches this door. And she holds the handle to the door. And she turns the handle to the door. And this whole time I'm thinking, like, what's in this room? What's in this room? What is our studio going to be like? Is it going to be this kind of brilliant, amazing, high-tech studio, really stepping up in the world?
Yeah.
And she opens the door to reveal the back room of the laundrette,
Yep.
which is where we are. New studio.
New studio. So
And there's like sort of there's tea and coffee here.
yeah, it's nice. They've got. I mean, obviously people come in sometimes, but it's.
There's a table.
Yep. Perfect for podcasting on.
Perfect.
It's
It's
flat.
just flat.
You can put the microphone on it.
There's we've got some sound insulation, which is
Yeah,
really
we've got some
good.
really cool, much better than the old studio. We've got some
Yeah.
really cool, sound insulation installed, which is. So it's basically piles of laundry,
just either side of.
but they really absorb the sound, so that's great.
It's like quite genuinely a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in the middle of the table there were these Sharkman cookies,
Yeah.
which I've been really enjoying.
Yeah.
Really
Same.
tasty.
Yep.
Then we just started our podcast, guys. But you know, people always writing in, and they're always saying like, Jack and Ferg, it's really hard to imagine where you are.
Yeah.
Like, well, if it helps now, just imagine we're in the back of a laundrette
Because that's where we are.
because we are there.
That's our new studio. And I think it's
kind of
I'm really excited about this. I know you are as well, Jack. Because it's stepping forward. It's a new place for the podcast.
Yeah.
It's we're going in new directions, and it's exciting to keep developing, keep changing.
Do you ever think we'll go back to the other one?
I don't see why we need to. I mean, our stuff's here now.
It was quite nice, the other.
I mean, sure, in most objective senses, it was nicer and better. But I think this. I mean, all our stuff's here now.
Yeah, you're right. Ferg.
Yeah. Great. So that's the new studio. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Ferg,
Yes, Jack.
what did the letter say again?
It was just
Just because I was asking at the beginning, and then you just started the podcast, you didn't.
yeah. It was just It wasn't to do with It was just
Just a. What did it say? Who's it from?
It's not from
Can I see it?
No.
Let me see it.
No.
Whoa, it's from Will.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is so cool that Will wrote us.
Yeah.
Guys, so just for listeners who don't know, who maybe tuned in kind of a bit late.
Yeah.
Will used to be on our podcast.
Yeah.
He was our third host.
Yeah.
And then what happened was it turned out he was slowly and inventively murdering all the cast and crew of this film called Dark Squid.
Yeah, terrible film.
Because it was really bad film, which is fair enough, but you can't really murder people too.
Yeah.
So, but we've apologised for that. already,
And he's
that's
he's out of our hair. He's in prison.
He's in prison. But it turns out he sent us this letter, which is cool. So is that why? So we're waiting on the bridge, then we'll come here because we were waiting for the letter. Is that? Anyway, let me just read it.
You don't have to read it on the podcast, Jack.
Dear Jack and Ferg, I am writing this in the case that I am in prison.
Yep.
I am objectively the best host on the podcast. Don't know about that first.
No, yeah. No.
I am objectively the best host on the podcast. And when I leave, inevitably your ad revenue will fall and you will fall behind on payments for your studio. Right. Okay. By my calculations, today you will be evicted from the studio and you will likely go and sit underneath our favourite bridge. I have timed this letter to arrive when you do. Please find attached instructions for a secret undercover podcasting booth. Oh.
Yeah.
So, and then it says all the stuff about saying Dark Squid sucks to the lady at the laundrette.
Gives the address of where we are now, yeah.
So wait, so you didn't know we were moving?
No. Not exactly.
But how could we possibly have fallen behind on... I don't mind being paid less or something. Like, you've just paid...
Yeah. Basically, it's... listeners... Obviously, I don't really talk about all the stats with you, Jack.
Right.
And obviously, I saw...
A lot of the stats.
I saw all the money
stuff,
and all the stats and all the all the sort of doing things side of the podcast. So yeah, I didn't want to tell you, Jack. I didn't want to worry you, but since we lost Will, it has to be said that our listenership has been going down.
What? Really?
And people... Chris was telling me that this would be an issue.
Right.
And it's turned out to be an issue.
Oh.
So we've not been getting... We've been falling behind on revenue. And yeah,
But I don't
this morning
understand.
we were evicted, and that's why I was outside with all the boxes.
But surely, Ferg, when you take a murderer off a podcast, more people are going to listen to it, right?
You'd think, but unfortunately,
So you've just been lying to me this whole time?
no, I've not been lying to you. I've not told you everything.
Well, you clearly
but
have,
that's-
because I didn't know that we weren't doing very well.
Yeah, because I
actually,
figured
Ferg.
that it would be better for the podcast if you weren't stressed about it.
And
If
it's
I
actually
just...
the way. So it's the way you've run the podcast that have got us into this mess.
Well, no, it's
and we
just...
were about to record the podcast on the bridge, actually, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Yeah. Well, I didn't know where to. Yeah.
And now Will has come along and saved us. And you're always like, Jack, don't talk about Will. Don't talk about Will on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, he was a serial killer.
He
Jack.
murdered people. Blah blah blah. You mustn't mention his name on the podcast.
Yeah.
But actually, Will has done much more for us today than you have.
I guess you're right.
He
yeah.
sent us that letter from prison.
Well, no, he didn't send it from prison.
So he wrote it before he was imprisoned and then timed it to arrive exactly when we'd be under that bridge.
Yeah.
See, he is more competent than you are, Ferg.
Yeah. I guess. Look, I'm sorry. I was just trying my best, and I know.
I ran that whole hashtag free will campaign.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
On Twitter, I got the hashtag free will going. Everyone was retweeting it. Everyone was.
Well, he was
saying
a
the same
prisoner.
thing.
Like I said, there's no room for free will on this podcast because free will isn't something we should even be involved in when he's in prison.
Maybe there isn't room for free will, but there is room for will. Okay, that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. And maybe we should listen to him a bit more.
I guess. I'm sorry. This is my fault. You're right. We should. Like, we can change how we're doing things.
I'm sorry I got cross. I just think I've been behind Will from the start, and I just feel like just because he murdered a few people, you've been like, no, mustn't talk about him.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Whereas, look, he sent us this letter. He sorted out our recording space, and you know what, Fergie's got nothing to gain.
Yeah.
He's got nothing to gain from this. He's in prison.
Yeah.
At the bottom of this letter, he says that he's scheduled updates to help us get more popular, and we just have to follow them to the letter. And if we follow them to the letter, we'll become more popular as a podcast.
You're
And
right.
he has absolutely nothing to gain from that because he's in prison.
No, it's.
Look, you can even see the prison out the window. You can even see the prison out the window. Look how little power he has.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look how high the walls are.
No, I know. I realize now that it's just yeah. He's that. I was wrong about Will. I'll say it.
Okay.
I thought obviously he used to be a friend, and when he did everything he did, I felt betrayed.
Yeah.
But he's done this, and clearly it's he's got, like you say, he's got nothing to gain. It's from the bottom of his heart.
I'm glad you've reconsidered.
He's given us this studio space that is weirdly near the prison, and we'll take what he's got to say into account from now on, and I'll tell you more about how the podcast is run. We'll do more of that together, Jack.
Okay, thanks, Ferg. It's not all bad. The studio.
No.
I do like it, and
Yeah.
now I know we can't go back. I understand.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you that before.
I like all the clothes
Yeah, it's
stacked up. There's a bit of moss over there.
yeah.
Looks like a face. It's quite cool.
Yeah. There's a
Massive
There's
poster
like a
of dark
massive-
squid.
dark squid poster on it. It's weird that we put a dark squid.
I thought he didn't like dark squid.
Yeah.
It's quite
Maybe
weird.
the poster's probably covering something up on the wall. It's probably just like a
We should
stain or
probably
something.
leave it up
May as well
then.
leave it up. I'm sure whatever he's covering that's on the wall with the movie poster in this laundrette that's near the prison is a good idea, and we'll leave it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited to follow his instructions when they come and have a more popular podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Ferg, did you see the back of the letter?
Oh no, no. What's that?
He says, "Reach between the two pink shirts."
Okay.
Okay, I'll just
have
gonna
a- yeah.
do that now.
More
Whoa,
biscuits.
More biscuits! Wow. I will follow everything he says to do in these letters to the letter.
I mean, if we're getting biscuits, let's just do it.
Biscuit Ferg?
By all means.
Love you, Will.
Love you, Will.
This has been Just Another Sharkman podcast, starring Jack Bradfield as Jack and Fergus Macdonald as Fergus. Artwork by Niamh Simpson. Tune in again for more Sharkman news tomorrow. And the day after that. And the day after that. And the day after that. And the day after that.